What's going on, Washington Football Nation? It's your boy Rio, and we're back with another episode of Rambling with Rio, rambling about Washington. It is now week 8, and we got the Broncos coming up this week. Let me know how y'all feeling in the chat about this one. It's another must win. I know I've been saying it's a must win game for the last couple weeks, but this is certainly a must win game. It's a must win game in the sense that we're finally playing a team that we should be better than. This is not a good football team. They got off to a 0-3. I mean, no, they got off to a 3-0 start, but they didn't, they didn't do anything since the 3-0 start. Like, they have not done a damn thing. They've lost badly to quality opponents the last few weeks. And you know what I'm saying? We should beat this team. We hung in there with bad teams. We hung in there with bad teams. I mean, we hung in there with good teams the last couple weeks, but this is a team that we should certainly beat. How y'all feeling in the chat right now? Let me see who we got in the chat. My guy, Pedro. Oh, I said that. Oh, check it out now. My man, Anna Yala in the chat. What's going on? We must win. If we don't win, I'm afraid of where the conversation goes after this game because we get a whole bye week to sit and ponder what we should do. Dak is Mark Holmes, Viagra in the chat. Redskins should beat the Broncos. My man, Redskins Weekly. What's up? What's good with you, man? I got some friends coming with me tonight. My wife in the chat. How you doing, mama? I got my young boy, Juan Gotti, pushing 3,400 subscribers himself. Welcome to the show, Juan. What's good?
What's going on, Rio? Thank you for having me, man. It's always a blessing to come on anybody's channel that talks about our beloved Washington football team. Although it hasn't translated to what we hoped, it's still our passion. It's still what we love to do. So I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Oh yeah, man. We're doing God's work talking about this team that we love so much that rarely shows his love back to us. But you know what? We still in the fight, man. We're coming off that Packers game Sunday. Like, what was your overall mood after that game ended on Sunday?
Yeah, so to be honest, my mood, and it's not just for the Packers game, it's been for almost every loss, probably besides the Saints loss. The Saints loss, I was heated. I'll be honest, because we should have won that game. But every other loss, I'm numb to it. One, because I'm getting older, and it's not like when I get older I don't care. I mean, I care, but it's like I'm getting older. I've been seeing the same stuff over and over again, so it's not like I don't care. But my emotion now isn't as what it was when I was younger. An example: a couple years ago when we lost to the Saints in New Orleans, where we literally should have won that game, and then they just came back. Alvin Kamara killed us. I cried that game. I have a picture of me. Crying literally because we lost that game. I'm not doing that ever again. I'm getting one because, like I said, I'm getting older, but now I'm numb to the pain. I'm numb to it because I'm so used to seeing us lose. So this year in the Packers game, I didn't expect us to win. So I wasn't as mad that we lost because I didn't expect us to win, but I was mad at how we lost because we should have won. I know a lot of you don't like saying the word should have won, but we should have. We literally left 21 points onto the board, had 5 red zone trips and couldn't score. Same for the Bills game. That I wasn't that mad because I expected us to lose. So again, my mood, it was like, dang, man, we should have won. But again, I expected us to lose that game. I was more so mad at how we lost, not that we lost.
Fact. And we got another guest on the show. My guy, Pedro, another one of our hardworking young men, keeping us up to date with all things Washington football team. He's got over 6,000 subscribers so far. Welcome to the show, Pedro.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
All right. So first thing I asked Juan, what was your exact mood after the clock struck 0 after the Green Bay game on Sunday?
I mean, honestly, kind of the same as Juan, because I feel like when you go into a game with expectations, that's when you get really pissed when the clock hits 0 and you lose. Like the Chargers game, like we didn't necessarily think we were going to blow them out or even win, but we thought, we had a chance to win going into that game. We lost. We could have won if Gibson doesn't fumble, all that stuff. That when the game was over there, really, really pissed off. Same thing with the Saints game. I didn't pick us to win, but we had a chance to win that game. And there were some expectations. We go in there, we lose the game on a game we probably should have won. But going into the
Yep.
Chiefs and Packers game, I did not think we were gonna win. So really, I wasn't like super upset that we lost, but kind of like what Juan said, the way we lost, the way the offense executed in both games, very, very disappointing. And I think maybe this week it'll be a little bit different because I think it's definitely more of a winnable game than we've had the last couple weeks. So there will be a little bit more expectations going into this game, but not much more.
Hell yeah, I appreciate that. And I appreciate y'all coming to chop it up with me today. And
Mhm.
Juan, let me tell you this. You said you're numb to it, right? And you're not going to be as emotional. It doesn't get better. I promise you, I just turned 30 on the 14th, 2 weeks ago. The emotion's not gonna leave you, bro. You're still gonna want to cry after game, bro. I remember being in the stadium 2012, the playoff game where RG3 tore his ACL. It was euphoric when we were up 14-0. I'm talking, we were in the stadium like, yo, we could do it this year. Like, the feeling was so real. It was like, we got our guy and we're actually good and we're punishing this good team. And then by the time the clock hit 0 and everything that took place, it was just like, I sat with my head in my hands for like 20 minutes. The attendant had to come tell me, all right, you got to go now, man. You got to go now. Shout out to my guy, Jacob in the house, man, my guy. Always keeping it real on Twitter. Man, I know, man, it was a hard time, but y'all let me know how y'all feeling in the chat. We're about midway through the season. We have a bye week next week. Juan, I've had you on the channel once before. I've been on Pedro's a couple times. So I want to get Pedro's story. You guys y'all are young men, but y'all know your Washington football and y'all keep up with your shit. Pedro, what got you into creating content and the love of this team?
Honestly, I just want to put my like opinions out there. Kind of like, especially like I was never like planning on doing like everyday stuff. Like I was never like going in like, oh, I'm gonna be posting, every day, stuff like that. But I just want to like, I think a couple things spurred me into it. But I remember DJ Swearinger getting released on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
That's
man.
what really started me because I actually got like my early Christmas present that year was a DJ Swearinger jersey. I got it a few days before Christmas Eve, and then I'm on
Painful.
vacation. I'm on vacation. We have no service. I come back after like we were on like a 4-hour hike. I come back to the cabin, and I just see like 4 messages from my friends like, "Oh, you just lost your jersey," stuff like that. And I'm like, what? And then I see Swearinger gets released, and I'm so pissed that I'm just like, okay, I gotta put my opinion out there. And I saw Ed Oliver doing it. I saw like he was one of the first, Washington content creators, and I was like, man, that's something. Like I saw him post his reactions, and I was like, man, that's something that I could do. I could go out there and post my reactions to moves the Washington football team makes. So that's really what inspired me to do it.
Yeah, man, that's tough, man. You got your early Christmas present, and they
I
said,
couldn't return it
they
either.
said keep the tag, homie.
I could not return it either. Ugh, man.
All right, Juan, go ahead and give us another Washington sob story before we continue on to the present.
Well, yeah, before I get to that, it's funny, man. Shout out to Ed because I now that we're in this thing, I look back on it and look at how old their channels are because they've been doing it a long time, and I look back and say, yeah, I was watching YouTube during the time, but what was I doing? And I was just I'm just now fine. Like obviously I knew about them like for 2 years now, but like 2 years ago, I'm like, what was I watching? These dudes been doing it for about 5 years, and I never came across them. Now I did. I'm just like, wow, man. But no, shout out to Ed. He was the first person I seen that was doing this like for Washington. So shout out to Ed, man. But no, another sob story for me, and this one's gonna hurt because 2015 we thought we won, we went to the playoffs, and then 2016 we could have set record for having 3 NFC East teams in the playoffs in that Giants game. Oh my god, bro. I literally I was ready to just I don't know, man, because I was on the phone with my friend because we would watch the game together on the phone and talk about what because we literally were just diehards, and obviously we still are, but. Yeah, we would watch the game on the phone, and his TV was slightly a bit ahead of mine. So I'm like, I turned him down. I said, mute yourself. So I turned him down a little bit, and then because it was like the last play, it was Kirk Cousins in the gun, and we needed the first down. And I'm like, I muted him and I turned him down. And then all you see is Kirk Cousins throwing a pick to Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, and that was our season, man. But looking back on that season, we did it to ourselves, man. We shouldn't even been in that predicament. If we win a couple more games, especially I want to say the Dustin Hopkins one in London.
Listen, that London game, oh my God, I would never forget. It will forever live in infamy for me because I remember I had a Halloween costume birthday party that year, and we all stayed at my friend's house and woke up at 9 to watch the game, feeling some kind of way. We was drinking the night before, and I didn't know how to feel after a tie. It felt like I wasted 4 hours of my day because it's not a win or a loss, so I can't feel high or low. It was this unhealthy medium that made me really uncomfortable. But let's get out of the past and let's talk to the present. Let's see what's happening in the chat. My guy Jacob said, this is why I don't buy jerseys. Me personally, now, unless the jersey's given to me, I learned with the Heineke jersey, I immediately donated that to my father. But I put my name on the back of the jerseys. I need, what I'm saying? I put my name on the back of the jersey so I don't have to waste time, because a player could go from being a star here to obscurity and cast away.
I had a teacher. I had a teacher a few years ago. His last name was Allen, and he got a Jonathan Allen jersey. That's a smart one right there, because not only
did he get it when he was 95, or did he get it when he got his number 93?
I think it was 93. I'm not sure, but either way, I mean it's his name on the back. So
okay, that's a smart guy. Shout out to Loser. He said, y'all ever wonder what happened to Monte Nicholson? Oh man, that guy, man.
Well, did he ever? Yeah, was he ever? I don't want to, bring that up on here, but was he ever found guilty of that, or
I'm not sure, but he's probably somewhere selling insurance or bagging groceries. He's probably at your local Whole Foods at customer service or something, because I know where he's not, and that's not the football field. And I hate that we even had to be involved in a situation like that where a life was lost. And oh man, that was a tough situation. Let's see what else is popping in the chat. My man Hawk, what's up, Washington Soldiers? What's good with you, man? Roger said, what's good? What is our offensive identity? First of all, what's good, OG? Our offensive identity at this point is missed opportunities, because we march that ball up and down the field weekly and come away with nothing. And based on when I watch, based on what I've seen in the Game Pass and the constant breakdowns I've seen, there are plays to be had there, and there are receivers schemed open. I get where he's going, though, because there's no identity as far as if we're a running team or a passing team. It's kind of inconsistent. But the players that are executing the offense are inconsistent. Antonio Gibson fumbles, it feels like, every week now, and his fumbles come at the worst times. And Heineke, we're going to get to Heineke in a second. Heineke leaves a lot of big plays on the field. What would you guys say our offensive identity is up to this point? I'll start with you, Juan.
Yeah, so for me, it's obvious. Our offensive identity is what Scott Turner wants to do, and he wants to fit into this new age of offensive coordinating with the 30-year-olds and 32-year-olds. My man Rio can go out there and be an offensive guru if he wanted to. That's this age of football, you know what I'm saying? And that's the passing attack. That's the Air Coryell. I don't know why, and I was guilty of this last year. But as the season went on last year and now, I don't understand why Scott Turner gets so much hate, man. Like, the only thing I have that's a problem that I believe he's going to fix once he not only gets more years under his belt and finally gets his quarterback, is his situational play calling and his red zone play calling. Those are his two niches right there. If he fixes those, he is literally perfect, and he's going to be someone's head coach in the future. But I don't understand why he gets so much hate. But his offensive identity is he wants to stretch out the field vertically, and he wants to throw the ball. if he could throw the ball every single play, he would.
He
That's what
would.
he wants to do. He doesn't
Facts.
want to run the ball. He
It's an
doesn't
air it
at
out
all.
offense. I know. He doesn't
literally
want to.
Yeah.
yeah, he literally doesn't want to run the ball. So his offensive identity is, literally passing and trying to beat you vertically.
Air that thing out.
Mhm.
Pedro, what you think?
I mean, I don't really know if we have one yet. I think that it's just too like the injuries on offense combined with the quarterback play makes it hard really to have an
Mhm.
offensive identity. And that might be, one of Scott Turner's flaws, but I think it's really not on him totally. And I just want to be clear on this. I've been on Scott Turner's side though all of last year and all of this year as well. And I hope he proves me right because um, he, I really think once he gets a quarterback, our
Mhm.
offense is going to go to the next level. Like not
It's gonna
only
take off.
is our quarterback play right now not great, but I mean look at the injuries we have on offense. Sam Cosmi, Brandon Sheriff, Curtis Samuel, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Logan Thomas, like our whole, and
Offense.
Antonio Gibson
And
and
it's
Terry
still
McLaurin.
churning. And it's still
Mhm.
walking up and down the field on people.
Yeah. And we should be scoring 25, 27 points a game, but either
Mhm.
Heineke or someone else
Kicker.
doesn't execute the play. One of the offensive linemen don't make the correct block. I mean, you said it. There, if you watch the film, you know that Scott Turner is at least an okay offensive coordinator. At least an okay offensive coordinator. And I mean, Tan Todd podcast, we talked about this before. They
My
do a
guy.
great job breaking down the film. They give you access to the Game Pass, and you can watch it there. And especially that Bills game, I didn't get to watch too many of the other breakdowns. I think I watched one more after that, and they just dropped one today. Um, there's plays to be made. Heineke is either not seeing it or he is a little bit inaccurate. I want to see what Scott Turner can do with a real quarterback, not even a real quarterback, but an average quarterback because he hasn't had anything close to that. I mean, what do you think? What's the best ranked quarterback he's had? Maybe 25th in the league. I mean, Haskins, Kyle Allen, Alex Smith was okay for a bit, but then he had that leg injury and he was not good for the rest of the season. And then Heineke has not been great the last few weeks, so he needs a better quarterback to really execute this offense.
And more like the he needs a quarterback with some juice in his arm because a lot of our plays work outside of the numbers,
Yes.
and we're putting these noodle arm guys out there who can't get it outside the number. But let me see. My guy Ant said we need another episode of the name change. See, we do need one, but with all that is going off the field with this organization right now, it would be very bad timing for them to roll out. You know what? But we're gonna call ourselves this in the midst of all these emails and debauchery and nefarious activity by our dweeb ass owner. But that's as far as I want to go on that subject before I get myself in trouble. My guy said Monte was nice in Madden as a user. Yeah, he did. He did have his moments on there. Redskins Weekly said, do we beat the Broncos? If so, why and how? He got it 24-21. Either way, leaning towards them because injuries on our side and Terry, we don't have enough. Okay. I got it looking like 21-17. And I still haven't decided who was going to win the game yet. I'll probably come up with it tomorrow. But I'm going to lean towards us because we have to win it. Because if we lose this game and fall to 2-6 before the bye week with Tom Brady, the GOAT, coming in after the bye week, that means we're staring 2-7 in the face. And the season goes from there was a shot to how high are we picking in the draft? And I hate 9 weeks into the season having to play the draft limbo game, but that's where we're going to be. What do you guys see the story looking like on the scoreboard for us this week in Mile High?
Yeah, so I honestly haven't came up with a score prediction yet. I guess I'm gonna do it live on the spot. But I have us winning. I'm not surprised if we go out there and trounce these boys because you've seen it the last couple weeks, man. We're there, man. This defense is finally gluing together. And we're there. You know what I'm saying? But on that same token, you guys remember 2018, and it's countless games in 2018 that we won. But you remember those games? I'm gonna go with the Bucks one, but you could very well go with that Panthers game too at home. I'm gonna go with the Bucks when it was like 16-3. I'm watching the game. I'm like this. That's how you know it's boring, because I'm the most diehard Washington fan, and I was even getting a little, sleepy watching that game. It could be one of these games where it's 13-10 or 16-3.
Teddy versus Taylor. It's very possible, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But all seriousness, I have us winning. I would not be surprised if we do these boys. Like I'm telling you, they're getting Jerry Jeudy back. That's good for them. They got Von Miller out more than likely, and anybody on that defense not named Von Miller, I'm not that much scared of. Not even Ronald Darby, not even their first round draft pick this year. Justin Simmons scares me a little bit, but you know what I'm saying. But if Von Miller's out, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying. But
Chubb is out. Is Chubb is healthy or Chubb is not healthy?
He's out.
Yeah, he's out. So we might not see either of their dominant pass rushers on either edge. So so you see it being an ugly game. What kind of score you got, Pedro?
I still haven't thought about it enough. I do think we will get the win. I think we should. I mean, I think Ron's gonna bring that urgency. Like I think Ron knows that this is a big game if they want to not contend this season, but if they want to contend for a wild card spot. This game is absolutely huge, and I trust Ron for him to, bring the right energy. And I don't know if I trust Vic Fangio to, bring that sense of urgency to the Broncos, even though they're 3-4. I trust Ron Rivera more in that. And, Jerry Jeudy's coming back. He might be a little bit slow, but Von Miller is going to be out. Bradley Chubb. They got 8 linebackers that are injured right now. Like from the beginning of the season. Game. So they traded for a Rams running back or Rams linebacker, Kenny Young. I don't know if he's going to be able to play. I mean, I don't know how a linebacker comes in and plays that same week, getting traded in the middle of the week. Who knows? Though?
Defense, maybe.
Yeah, maybe he does. But their defense is ranked 4th right now in the league. But if you take out Von Miller, you take out some of these linebackers, and Bradley Chubb played a game or two, they're going to be much worse against us. You saw D'Ernest Johnson absolutely tear them up.
Hell yeah! And I don't even know who D'Ernest Johnson is.
He ran a 4.9. He ran a 4.9 40-yard dash, and he scored. He had over 100, or he had 148 plus rushing yards. So, I think that hopefully we should be able to win. If Gibson's healthy, he might have a big day. And one thing I want to say, and I know we do not want to talk about playoffs at all because we're 2-5, right?
We're 2-5. We're not going to use.
We're 2-5, but I was just like, I was listening to. I've actually not been listening to many podcasts the last couple of weeks because I can't take all the negativity. But I turn it on, and I've been busy. But I turned on the JP Finley podcast. They were talking about they were saying like the last wild card spot is going to be ugly. I mean, what's crazy is right now we're 1 game out of that wild card, and we're 2-5. Like that's insane to me. But if we want to even talk about that, we need to win.
That right.
Yeah, we need to win against the Broncos to get us to 3-5, and then if we can, get somewhat close to 500, maybe 2 games under 500 heading into that gauntlet at the end of the season against the NFC East, maybe we have a chance. Just because if you look at the NFC, it's so top heavy. I mean, you got the Cardinals, the Rams, like so many teams that have like just
Dallas.
one loss. But then the wild card teams are pretty weak. I still don't think we're going to make the playoffs. But Ron Rivera's team, second half team, we'll see. But they first have to win this game if they want to even think about it. Because if they don't, they're 2-6 going into the bye, and we're the 2 weeks. We're just going to be talking about the draft.
Facts. And I don't even want to talk about the playoffs yet. And honestly, if it's the type of season, I feel like based on what we've seen thus far, I don't want the playoffs in a year that we don't deserve to be in it, because last year we got in the playoffs by default because Dak got hurt. And let's see where that kind of set us back a bit, because it gave us a first place schedule when that wasn't the type of team we were. Let's catch up in the chat. Roger said, Juan, our problem is the good teams run it first in a passing league. You still have to bring some toughness and physicality. I think the issue that we have with that is that we don't actually have a featured running back. We want Antonio Gibson to be a featured running back. He's still learning the position. For some reason, he runs like he's a power back when that's not his style. And I don't think he will. I don't think this whole Christian McCaffrey bell cow back that we thought he was going to be was what he is. And we need to figure out what he is. And we need to get Jared Patterson on the field more. JD McKissick's the best running back we have on the roster, which is very weird to say. He runs the most effective style. And he always gets yards out. Shout out to my guy Ethan Talks Football. What's going on, boss? He said 27-20 Washington football team. The D's going to bounce back this week. I mean, the D bounced back last week. I mean, you wouldn't know if you saw Aaron Rodgers' numbers that we played a good game, but we went down on their goal line 1,000 times versus a coach Joe Barry coach defense, and we came away with nothing. We're taking dives at the one. We're fumbling inside the goal line. We're missing wide open receivers, and we're throwing lollipop duck interceptions in the red zone. That's not going to win, especially versus a good team. Washington diehard fan says 17-14 Washington. Hold up. Oh yeah, Red Wings 0-1. He's talking about the game. You were talking about the Buccaneers game. He said, I remember Fitzpatrick had like 400 yards and they only scored 3. Yo, that was one of the weirdest games I ever seen because he dotted us up between the 20s all day. Deep plays in between the numbers all day, and they came up with nothing. That game was absolutely atrocious. And that game is the full epitome of the Ryan Fitz tragic magic experience. Roger said Rams, Browns, Ravens, Raiders, Bucks, Saints, Cowboys, Titans, and even the Cardinals all based their offensive approach with running. I agree and disagree. I think half of those teams based their offensive approach with running. New age passing for sure, but most of those teams are run heavy. Are pass heavy. Cowboys, Zeke isn't what he used to be. So they're the number 1 offensive attack in the league because they air that shit out all day long, and Zeke gets his because the passing game opens up the running game for them. And that's the case with a lot of those teams. Maybe not the Browns and the Ravens, but the Rams, Bucks, Saints, Cowboys are all, and the Cardinals are all pass first offenses. Red Wing said, should we trade for Brandon Cooks to give us a spark? I would only do it if we're making a serious run. So no for me. What do y'all think about Brandon Cooks? Because it's a no for me too.
Yes. You go ahead, Pedro.
All right, thanks. Well, I made a video about not about Brandon Cooks today, but I talked about like 4 trades that Washington should/could make at the trade deadline. And what I kind of said is I really don't want a rental. Like, if you're trading for a guy, trade for a guy that you think will be here for 3-4 years. You think will be a part of your future. Maybe someone like Miles Jack or someone else like that. If you want to do that, I am totally fine. If you think you're getting good value for a team that's selling a player that you think will be on the roster the next couple years, then sure. But Brandon Cooks, I think Brandon Cooks is super underrated. I think he's a good receiver. But, I mean, I don't really want to spend mid-round pick on him. It's probably going to take, I don't know what it's going to take, but probably at least a 4th-round pick. And I really don't want to do that, which, when he's probably going to be a rental. And I don't really know how much he's really going to help us this year. And yeah, that's a no for me. And I'm mostly going to be selling this. I would, if I were them,
I would
mostly sell this trade deadline unless, like I said, a guy you think can be a part of the future is available. Like for me, I would consider, and we can talk about this, I would consider shopping someone like Tim Settle, who I think there's a 95% chance he will not be here next year. So you might as well ship him for whatever you can get, because let's keep it real. He's a good player, but he is not contributing because the players in front of him. So you might as well get something for him now instead of letting him walk, and maybe you get like a 7th-round compensatory pick. But I think if you trade him now, maybe you get like a 5th-round pick.
Okay, Juan, what you think?
Yeah, so for me, I'm pretty much in the same boat to where I wouldn't trade for not Deion Brown, but
Brandon
trade
Cook.
for Brandon Cooks because we don't know what we have. Our team has been hit with injuries so much, so we since week 1 we haven't seen this offense at its full capacity. Curtis Samuel hasn't played much at all. De'Ami Brown's been in and out of the lineup. Logan Thomas has been hurt, but more so for that wide receiver position or group rather, we haven't seen it at its full strength, so we don't know if we truly have a number 2. We don't know what we have. I wouldn't trade for Brandon Cooks, although I would say this about Brandon Cooks. He's really, really good. And for some reason, every team he goes to, they always find out winning the Super Bowl or being in that talk or something like that. So, you know what I'm saying? So Brandon Cooks is really, really solid. But for some reason, and I could be wrong on this, but if you look in Ron's history, has he ever been aggressive at the trade deadline? Like, I don't know if I'm trying to think back to his days in Carolina. I don't know if I remember Ron being super aggressive at the trade deadline.
I know since he's been here, they've been very conservative, so I'm not expecting any type of splashy move unless the owner comes in and I wouldn't trade for Cook. I wouldn't trade for Cook. So it's a no for you too?
Yeah, it's a no for me. And I was about to say, the only guys that I could see us really like selling, because if anything, I would sell is Landon Collins and Brandon Sheriff are the only two guys that has value. Yeah, and I said that in the video. I said no one is trading for him, but if anything, those are the two only guys that has value. And if we wanted to trade Landon Collins, we could probably talk a good game and say, hey man, we just moved in that linebacker last game. We might could use him at linebacker, so you throw us a little 5th round pick, you can go get him. You know what I'm saying? But that contract, you're gonna have to take on. So no, I don't think we make any moves at the trade deadline because, again, in my video today, I said this team is confusing. You don't know if they're packing in on the season or if you don't know if they're gonna make a late season run. Late season run, because you don't know. This game here is going to tell me all I need to know. If we lose this game, you're packing in the season. You packing in the season.
This
but if
is
we win
a statement game. This is the biggest game of the season because for the first time in weeks, we're playing a team that is on our level. We're not playing a team that is better than us. It is Teddy Bridgewater. He's like the most pedestrian, steady Eddie, mediocre quarterback that football has to offer, and he beat us last year. So this game is a good measuring stick for us. My guy Jake, great point. Our receivers get open, they aren't the issue. Just like my guy Pedro said earlier, I want everybody who does not follow the Tay and Todd podcast to go over to their YouTube channel and watch his quarterback breakdowns and watch all of the plays and points that were left in the field at Lambeau Field on Sunday. Taylor Heineke, it's not the pile on Taylor Heineke hour, but Buddy misses so many big plays. The Chiefs game, the Saints game, the Packers game, even the game we won versus Atlanta and versus New York. Kurt Warner even pointed it out. For someone who's been with the offensive coordinator in 3 different systems in Minnesota, in Carolina, and in Washington, he does not see the field or process correctly. And he sees it too late. And by the time his noodle-ass arm gets the ball out, it's the ball's floating in the air for like an hour, and the receivers have to come back to it, and the ball's swatted down. Let's see what else we got in the chat. My guy Sven, shout out to him, Mississippi State guy. He's coming in repping State. Roger says, let's trade Payne. You know what? Why don't we shop Daron Payne? We're not going to give another defensive lineman a big contract. Seto is going to be more like he's going to be easier to sign long-term than Daron. And with the way that I've seen the production of this defense this year, we need to stop prioritizing giving all of them a big check because Jonathan Allen earned his money, but we need to see a little bit more of what we have first and save some of that money for when we get a goddamn real quarterback on this roster. Sven says, Washington needs to build up from the ground. It starts with quarterback in both lines. Your offense is just bad. The offense isn't just bad, though. The offense is not just bad. We're missing half the offense.
The quarterback is
the problem.
Good.
Yes, that is it. And they're not it. Young and Sweat are not nasty enough. This is also true. They're not right now. But the biggest issue that we face as a franchise, the quarterback's not good. We don't have one on the roster. Fitzpatrick's not good. Heineke's not good. Kyle Allen's not good. You put them all together, they make like 60% of a decent quarterback, and that is not going to win you games in 2021. Let me see. What else we got in here? I think we'll just roll with what we got. I mean, yeah, we're gonna roll with what we got. The only thing I'm really buying is if we get into a quarterback conversation. Like if we get into a conversation for a quarterback, that's a whole different story. I'm not really buying anything else unless we go get like a big running back. Newsflash: Teddy Bridgewater is way better than anything that's on your team right now. That's not a newsflash. That's not. I mean, that's not saying much. That's not saying much. I mean. That's not a newsflash. I know he's better than everything we got. That's the whole point of the whole discussion. That we don't have anything on the roster right now, and Teddy is better than all of them in the quarterback room. That is the whole point.
I don't even know. Teddy's better than Teddy's better than Heineke and Kyle Allen, probably. But I think of Fitzpatrick, I probably would take Fitz over Teddy. I don't know. I mean, they're both.
Teddy I might take Ryan just because he lets his balls hang, and I don't do game managers. I'm not a game manager quarterback guy, and I can't stomach watching the Tyrod Taylor, Alex Smith, Teddy Bridgewaters of the world. Like, please keep them. Only bring them here if we plan to play a young guy 2 weeks after they start the season.
Yeah, for me though, I might have to disagree, man. Taylor Heineke's better than Teddy Bridgewater, in my opinion. What you're going to get out of Teddy Bridgewater is $150 for a touchdown, no picks. I'd much rather would take the 225 and one touchdown or two touchdowns and one interception for 33 for 47. I'm just throwing out random stats with Taylor Heineke and watch a boring game with Teddy Bridgewater. Taylor Heineke's better than Teddy Bridgewater. Give me Taylor Heineke any day of the week. If you give me the Green Bay Packers, Atlanta Falcons, or New York Giants, Taylor Heineke, come on, now that's better than Teddy Bridgewater. I disagree.
Not the Green Bay Packers, Heineke.
No,
oh my God.
He was solid. He was solid in Green Bay.
Juan.
Hey, I'm gonna send you this link to this quarterback breakdown. I want you to see
with the raw eye. I'm not talking about the all 22. I'm talking about
watch the instant replays, bro. Dax Milne was ready to throw a whole temper tantrum on the goal line because he's sitting wide open in the end zone and Heineke's not seeing him.
All right, let me rephrase that. The parts of the Green Bay game, not the overthrow to Terry, not the overthrow to JD, not the one where he missing that. Parts of the Green Bay Packers game is when he showed flash. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. And, like, I see Phillips comment and he says, I'm in the minority on this. I don't think it's all in the QB. No, it's not all in the QB. Yeah. I think the offensive struggles are mostly on the QB, but there's also like players that are just not executing at certain points. Like McLaurin's been an absolute beast. He's an elite receiver, but he should have made that catch in the end zone.
He needs to stop body catching. Yeah, he has to stop body catching.
He should have made that catch. There's been guys where if one guy makes a block a little bit more, it's a touchdown. But I really think that, and yeah, you're right. Heineke probably did win us that game against the Falcons, but there's also been other games where if we had okay quarterback play, we probably beat the Saints. We probably beat one of the Chiefs or the Packers.
Oh, not probably. Honestly. We will.
Yeah,
not probably.
So Heineke won us one game, no doubt. With that, like the Falcons game, he was great in that game. Like the plays he made, even though they were risky plays that probably weren't smart, he won us that game. But he also, with other quarterbacks, we probably win 2 more games, so it nets out to maybe a 1 more game with Fitzpatrick. But yeah, the secondary definitely has been disappointing. And one thing I will say though is I am starting to feel better about the defense. Like the last 2 games, I think they've improved a ton. I mean, last week they allowed 24 to Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and really it should have been less because the offense turned the ball over in their own 25, their own 30. So that gave the Packers basically a free 3 points and even more. So they ended up getting 7. But I think the defense played better, and let's hope they can stack these good performances. I mean, there's a correlation. Landon Collins not playing safety, playing in the box, and not only playing in the box, but playing less snaps. he played way less snaps, and then also William Jackson wasn't playing too. And our defense, I thought, played pretty well against Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams had 76 receiving yards, and 26 of those came off of a ridiculous catch where Kendall Fuller was all over Devontae Adams. He just made
Caught
a
it
hell
with
of a
his
play.
knuckles.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
God.
I'm encouraged by the defense. Obviously, they got to play way better, but
Mhm.
I'm a little bit encouraged by their performance against the Packers.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
same.
For
Mhm.
sure. I'm gonna let you touch on that in a second. I see two things in the chat. Jacob hates Taylor Heineke and Roger hates Scott Turner. Roger hates Scott Turner, bro.
He does.
Roger and Scott went to school together or something, and Roger don't want no part of this man thriving here as the OC. He cannot stand him some Scott Turner. There's definitely blame to go around on multiple parts, but offensively, most of it's on the quarterback. Terry McLaurin, love you. And I seen somebody in the chat, they said, give him Philip said, give him a lifetime membership Fitzgerald style. I agree, because I wouldn't be mad if he left us, because I would understand, like, how many quarterbacks does one receiver need to go through before he decides, you know what, I want to play for a good quarterback. So we should
Mhm.
definitely offer him a quarterback style contract when his contract comes, or maybe this off season. And my guy's Finn, he said, go look at the Fresno State quarterback and the tackle from Mississippi State. Those are the dudes you need. I've definitely looked at Hayner this week, the quarterback from Fresno State. That's actually a name that no one's talking about. So Red Wing says J.J. Watt can't catch a break. Yeah, he's out for the
Man,
season. I just seen that. That is tough, man. That
yeah.
is tough. Let me see. Give Green Bay a 7th-round pick and grab Colin Hill, the running back from Mississippi State. He is a 1,000-yard running back, easy, and runs over people. I like Colin Hill. Yo, my man, Go Caps in the building.
Yup.
Let's change the conversation, since we love talking about quarterbacks here. I want to know, everyone in the chat and you too, I want to know, what is your ideal situation to solve this goddamn quarterback position once and for all in Washington? Juan, who is the guy, and how do you go about doing so?
Unrealistic. Our guy,
I'll give it to me.
our guy is Aaron Rodgers. Unrealistically, realistically, and what I think would happen, and I would do, because this is just me. I don't want to pack in on the season. I want to make a late stretch. I don't care how bad people may say this team is. I always want to compete for the playoffs. I don't care if people say we belong or not. I don't care how bad we played in the first part of the season. If we go down the stretch of the season and we have a chance to get into the playoffs, let's get into the playoffs. So say we do, and we're making the stretch, and we win some games, whether we make it to the playoffs or not. Say we're sitting around that 15 and 17 range, or 14, 13, 12. That's probably not going to be good position for a top pick or top quarterback. So I'm all for trading up to, get the guy that we want, okay? Because we may be a quarterback away. I truly feel like we are. So I would be all in for trading up for a quarterback. But then again, it's not like it's just this one guy that separated himself in this draft class. So you might get some guys that may go 4, then may go 8 or 12, because again, it's not that Trevor Lawrence, that Joe Burrow, that Kyler Murray of this draft class. They're all you know what I'm saying? No one has separated themselves just yet. But I tell you, that boy Bryce Young, in a couple years, oh man, he is going to be something. But yeah, I'm all for trading up. They talked about not mortgaging the future, but how many times has Ron Rivera went against his word? So I wouldn't be surprised if they do mess up the future for a quarterback, but it's not messing up, because you see, we're a quarterback away from being good. So I'm all for trading up.
Yeah, me too. What about you, Pedro?
It's like, I think you ideally want to get a rookie, because I mean, you look at the Super Bowls won, and you look how teams are built, and usually the team that wins the Super Bowl, their quarterback was drafted, by their team. Usually, there are exceptions. Peyton Manning with the Broncos, Tom Brady last year with the Bucks, but usually the teams that win the Super Bowl have their own, drafted homegrown talent they drafted. But I'm not that patient. Like, this year, you look at all the quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks. I mean, none of them have stood out. Mac Jones has been solid. Like, he's been solid, but he's not been like a game changing quarterback like some of these guys in the past. These guys are, asked to go in there and start right away. Justin Fields does not look good. Trey Lance, okay. They're all a lot of them have struggled, and that is to be expected. I definitely think these guys will be better in the future, at least some of them. But it's really, really, really hard to win with the rookie quarterback. Like realistically, like you are not going to win with the rookie quarterback unless that guy is, has a Dak Prescott type season in his rookie year, an RG3 type season. So I, like Juan, would rather go after someone like Aaron Rodgers. And honestly, I don't think he would come here.
He
But
would
I
not.
feel like Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, like I feel like if they have a bad year, let's say when Wilson comes back, they're like 2 and maybe he misses. What are they? 2-5 right now? They're 2-5.
Yeah, they're bad.
So let's say they have a bye week this week. Let's say he doesn't come back 1 week after the bye. He comes the week after that. And let's say they go 2-6 and really they're like, we're not going to put you back in right now. Let's let you heal. And they end up winning like 5-6 games. Maybe he's so frustrated that he's like, okay, I'm done. I want out. And then maybe he would come again. It's tough because, I think his wish list was like the Bears, Raiders, and Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, we know he isn't going to the Bears and the Cowboys because they either invested a ton of money or draft capital into their quarterbacks. And the Raiders, I don't think so as well. So, I mean, maybe that could be a situation. That would be my ideal guy, Russell Wilson, who you could have. I mean, what is he, like 33 right now?
Yeah, he's like 32,
So
33. Yeah.
you could have him for 10 more years. I mean, what's crazy is these are his first missed games ever. He's never missed a start before this season. So he's reliable, and that would be my option, him and Rodgers.
Yeah, can I add on to something right quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's funny you say that, man. I just heard you say 32, 33. I remember when our Helmet RG3 and Andrew Luck were all rookies. I literally remember
Babies.
watching that draft class. I'm
Yep.
like, man, these dudes are so old. No, they're not. Let me take that back. I'm sorry, Russell Wilson, my favorite player in the NFL. You're not old, buddy. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just playing. But I agree with Roger where he says draft one of these quarterbacks. But here's the thing that I want to put out to you guys right quick. Because I'm more of if we draft the guy, I wouldn't be as bad if they say we'll let Heineke be that bridge guy. I think he can do it.
Or Fitzpatrick.
I don't think so.
I mean, I'll take them over what I just seen someone suggest, like Mitch Trubisky in the chat. That is the one option. Like, no, we don't want Mitch Trubisky. We do not want.
All right,
Mitch
so who would you want to be the bridge?
Realistically, I think they would put Fitzpatrick as the bridge over.
You don't want that though. You know, that's one thing that I was mad that he got. The reason why he got hurt is because Ron's going to use that as a reason to bring him back. And we all know what Fitzpatrick is. I would much rather take the Giants or Atlanta Falcons. Heineke for 6-7 weeks.
I take him as a bridge. Than outsourcing for another jag-ass quarterback to be the bridge. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah,
so if it's not Heineke for you, who's your bridge guy for next year? If say we draft our quarterback and he has to sit, who's your bridge guy?
Okay, so if it's a bridge, maybe like a Marcus Mariota or something like that. I don't want to do that though. I'm done with bridges. I'm done with band-aids. I'm done with bridges. I'm swinging. Say what you're gonna say, Pedro.
I want to say one thing. The worst, I think. Why in the hell would you want your rookie quarterback to be modeling his game after Taylor Heineke? Like Taylor Heineke is like sometimes it works out. Like sometimes he makes an amazing play. Like the 250-yard passes to McLaurin. Those are insane, great plays, but those are also not, especially the one against the Falcons, not necessarily a smart play going across your body and just throwing it out there on 1st and 10. Like, I don't want my rookie quarterback to be learning from Heineke, who's, again, you have to think, yes, he's 28, 29 years old, but this is his first year as a starter, so he is not experienced. So he's not like, it's not that I'm saying he's much worse than Fitzpatrick. That's not what I'm saying. Just as a bridge quarterback, Fitzpatrick has much more experience and he's done it in the past. So, and I know Fitzpatrick is also not a guy that you necessarily want to, model your game after, but I think it would be better than Heineke. That's just my thoughts, though.
I don't know though. You want me to go, Ariel?
All right, so this is how I feel about the quarterback situation. I'm gonna give you a 500 days of summer. I'm gonna give you expectations and reality. So expectations is what I would do. First of all, I'm swinging for the fences. I am so sick of band-aids, jags, average quarterbacks, bridges. That has been my entire life here. So look, the season's gonna end. First of all, the doomsday option, the blow everything up, but we better win right away option is to say F it and throw our hat in the ring in the Watson sweepstakes. I know people don't want to hear it, but let's hear me out. Hear me out. If any team could deal with the shit show media circus that is what Deshaun Watson is going through, it's the team that's going through the exact same thing right now. It's Dan Snyder. It is Dan Snyder. He's the owner. He knows exactly. He will welcome Watson in his office with open arms and say, "We're going to get through this together." Because I'm not saying that that's a good thing. That would make me feel a little as a person and as a man. But as a fan, I'm looking at it from a football aspect. He's not on the exempt list, but with our luck, we would trade for him and he'd go on the exempt list. But there's a lot still to be figured out with this Deshaun Watson stuff. But our title window would almost open immediately once number 4 steps on the field. Like literally, he could take us on a run right now as we're presently built. But that's probably not going to happen, so we're not going to go there. As soon as the season concludes and we're not in the playoffs, I'm calling the Raiders. No, in this order. I'm calling the Packers. I'm calling the Seahawks. I'm calling the Raiders. And I'm saying, look, Godfather offer, whatever you want. Can we have your quarterback? And if we can't get Carr, if we can't get Wilson, if we can't get Rodgers, then we're back to square one. We have to have the best quarterback in this draft class. Whoever separates themselves from the Matt Corral, Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell field, we have to have the best one. We have to have the best one. Like, we can't just settle for, we're going to get the 6th quarterback in the class and we're going to make it work. I am tired of settling here. Reality, we're going to sign Mitchell Trubisky in the offseason, and we're going to pick we're going to run off a couple wins that mean nothing in the final weeks of the season. We're going to pick 14th, and we're going to draft Carson Strong to sit behind Mariota, 2 completely opposite quarterbacks. So it's not like one's going to mentor and affect the other one when one didn't even pan out in the league. And we're going to be back in freaking quarterback purgatory for another few years, and we're going to be talking about down the line Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, and freaking Arch Manning. That's the reality. I'm not sure we're ever going to have a quarterback, so I don't see an answer coming this offseason, and it's a damning reality to swallow and accept, but that's how I see it playing out. Thoughts?
Yeah, so again, if you wanted to make a move at the quarterback position, I think you were supposed to do it this past year. Instead of drafting Jamin Davis, which I was in favor of the pick, so don't make it. I'm not saying I'm not, but in drafting Jamin Davis, you maybe try to trade up to get a Mac Jones or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this is the year you do it, because if you look at the free agent class, who's free agents in the quarterback room, and then who in the draft in the draft class, it's not that strong. So I think we did kind of put ourselves behind the 8 ball even more, because we're now that we should have got a quarterback last year. You know what I'm saying? This draft class again is not that good, in this free agent class.
I don't think the class is as weak as people are saying it, though, because the great class from last year is looking real suspect in the light right now. Mac's like the only one really seeing success on a weekly basis, but it's early. It's way too early. The jury's still out on most of the dudes, but I don't think the class is as bad or as weak as people are saying. But we have to pick from the upper echelon of the class. class. I don't want us just settling for QB5.
But we don't know but we don't know what the upper echelon is again because no one has separated themselves to be that guy of this class yet. You know, it's stuff there, it's potential there, but we don't know.
Corral and Pickett. I think Corral and Pickett are separating themselves. I think Corral and Pickett both are separate. But Pickett's like a 5th-year senior. He can be like 25-year-old rookie. He can be a 25-year-old rookie.
Terry again.
On some Brandon Whedon shit.
Yeah. I think, I mean, honestly, you just at this point, no one really knows with like the quarterback rankings. That's gonna come out more when the combine starts. When you start once the NFL guys, once the season's over and people are scouting stuff and things come out, we're gonna get our feelings on what the rankings are gonna be. And honestly, I don't know. I have a little bit of confidence in this group finding their guy. Kime has reported a bunch like that.
Hurney's great with quarterback evaluation.
Hurney's favorite quarterback in the 2020 class was Herbert. His favorite quarterback was Herbert. And I think Kyle Smith, or I think Washington liked like the other group, like the group that was in the draft class in 2020 liked Herbert over Tua anyways. But that's just their thoughts there. So we'll see. Either way, drafting a rookie quarterback, you're probably not going to have success right away, but who knows? You just have to hit on them, and it just shows what a good quarterback can do to your franchise. I mean, the Bengals, do they really have that great of a roster besides Joe Burrow? They have a solid roster. I mean, they got T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, Jonah Williams, Trey Hendrickson, Jesse Bates, but it's not anything crazy. So you just got to get a good quarterback. And Rio, I got to go after this too. So.
Oh yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna wrap this up in just a second. My guy Pedro got to go, but we're gonna head out too. A quarterback means everything. Joe Burrow's coming off an ACL tear in his second year. He gets his college receiver, and they have the best record in the AFC right now. Through 7 weeks of the season, 8 weeks of the season, because a quarterback changes your life. And until we get one here, it's just going to be the same conversation over and over. My guy, Pedro, go ahead and tell them where they can find you if they don't already know, and you can head out for the night, man.
Appreciate that, Rio. So yeah, just go check me out on YouTube, Pedro Schmith. That's my channel name. Post daily Washington content, and I usually do a stream once a week. I have people like Rio on, Juan on a lot, so make sure you guys come through that. Appreciate you having me on, Rio.
Appreciate it, man. I'll probably be on with you on Saturday, buddy. Go ahead and do those college applications. Best of luck, and keep putting that fire-ass content out, my guy.
Appreciate it, guys. Peace.
Yeah. All right, peace. All right, Rio. So before we get out of here, I wanted to bring this to you. So we were just talking about the quarterbacks, right? Okay, so we talked about the draft class. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. I can talk for another 20, 30. You know what I'm saying? I don't got nothing to do. So we talked about the draft. Let's talk about the free agent. Yeah, we're good. The free agent class, right? So I mean, let me read you off the quarterbacks then. All right, here we go. Ben Roethlisberger, Taysom Hill, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, Tyrod Taylor, Jameis Winston, Jacoby Brissett, Teddy Bridgewater, Marcus Mariota, Joe Flacco, Mitchell Trubisky, Tim Boyle, Blaine Gabbert, Chad Henne, who I didn't even know was still in the league. Actually, he plays for the Chiefs. Brandon Allen, Mike Glennon, AJ McCarron, Geno Smith, Colt McCoy, Chase Daniel, Brian Hoyer, who
please stop it. Please. We don't want no more, Juan. Stop the masses. Stop the count, goddammit.
That's my point. So who are you gonna bring in here to be a bridge guy for your draftee? You're at a point where you must draft the guy. You have no choice, and if you don't, you're back rolling with Kyle Allen and Taylor Heinicke because there's nobody in this free agent class that you want. You know what I'm saying?
At this point, so if we're gonna stay the purgatory bridge option, we have to stick with what we have because that list was just disgusting. It hurt my ears to listen to you. Like, we cannot put ourselves in the running for that list. They better be working the phones like they work on goddamn Wall Street. when the season ends, because there is no way we can settle for that list. Like Marcus Mariota is literally the only name on that entire spill of bleh quarterbacks that I even want to consider going for.
And he's not even that. You know
he's
what I'm
not
saying?
either. You know what I'm saying? He was the second pick of the draft, and it didn't pan out. Like he's still trying to collect paychecks as a backup in Vegas. But the guy that starts in front of him, Derek Carr, I will take a flyer on that. No more than a flyer. He's 30 years old. He can come be our future. I would give it all for the Raiders, who are going to be in flux after the year because the Gruden situation, you know. But no matter who we get, we're still stuck with Dan Snyder at the end of the day.
Yeah, I just saw a tweet. that it said, let me see here. I just saw a tweet literally like 5 seconds ago. Let me read it to you here. It says, this guy named Andrew Brand.
Andrew Brandt.
Yeah, Andrew Brandt. He says, I grew up a diehard Washington fan. Tough to see / comment, but lost my fandom when my friend went to pick up daughters at Daniel Snyder's house. They went they went at a play date with Snyder's daughter. My friend, thank you for having my girls over, Dan. It's Mr. Snyder. It's Mr. Snyder. Like, come on. And then you can tell he does it because he did it publicly. If you go back on the Washington Football Team's YouTube channel, it was like an interview from some years ago with Dan Snyder, and he told the reporter it's Dan. Because he said, we had Washington Football Team's owner, Mr. Snyder, on, and he said it's Dan. And he tried to laugh and play it off. He's just a bad human, man. He's a bad human.
Yeah, man. For years they've said Dan doesn't let people look him in the eyes. He only lets players of a certain stature call him Dan. Oh, shout out for my guy Sven, because he always suggested some of these obscure quarterbacks that I haven't even checked out yet. He said join the D4 Sports Show after that. They know a thing about college football. Will do. I'll definitely check them out. Shout out to Roger. Shout out to Philip, Rockman, Jacob, Christopher Hill, everybody. Tone, my guy Tone, was good with you, man. Everybody that came to kick it in the chat tonight, the vibes were immaculate. But let's go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Let's go watch some Thursday night football. My guy Juan, my young boy, go ahead and plug your stuff, your social medias, and let's rock.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate you, Rio, for having me on the show as always. It's your boy Juan Gotti talking sports. You can find me on YouTube at Juan Gotti talking sports. We're pushing for 4,000 subscribers, so that's where you can find me. You can find me on Instagram at Juan Gotti talking sports too, and on Twitter. So make sure you guys go over there and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then follow the Instagram and Twitter. Thank you guys so much, and again, thank you, Rio, for having me on.
Always a pleasure, my guy. And yeah, Tone. Yeah, Roger, man. You know what I'm saying? They got to pull a Radsbit out their hat to get him here. But look, this is the reality we face. And the sooner we accept it, we can move forward. Dan is going to be here till he's 100 years old, and he'll be passing the team to his son. So let's just hope he gets a quarterback, and that quarterback can block off and just completely mask the ineptitude that comes from the top of the organization. But y'all know what it is, Rambling with Rio. I got something coming out pretty much every day at this point. I'm keeping the content churning. Follow me. You see it on the top right, Rio_Robinson91. I'm stirring things up, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you know the vibes, man. Let's get a W this week. Washington Football Nation. Hell to the nameless football team. Deuces.
Peace.